Do you guys have a registration process for your webinar, which means that more or less the attendees, do they have to register for your webinar? If so, I probably got a good idea, but first and foremost, I apologize the noise if you hear some hammering. These dudes are building a kind of fish bowl into a terrace, which is pretty awesome, and I have no idea how these fishes will survive after that, but we will see what happens. They hire pros for that, and they will know what they're doing, hopefully. So, since we work a lot with webinar runners to close their non-buyers and follow up with buyers, stuff like that, we actually saw that the registration process to watch a webinar is pretty awesome for a few of you guys. But here's the deal. Most have a registration page and people register for a webinar, so they get an email follow-up and they get reminded a few hours before and stuff like that, and then some will attend and some don't. And we figured out that the amount of people who actually register to a webinar and the amount of people who attend the webinar, there's a huge gap, right? So let's say 100 people register for a webinar, but just 50 attend the webinar. So what happened with the other 50 will be the question here, why they didn't attend, stuff like that. And we figured actually out a really cool tweak to not just increase the buyers quote sales conversion on the webinar itself. We also increased the webinarcloser.com service, which you will find everything on webinarcloser.com. By the way, head over and have a look at this. We found out that this simple tweak helps us to convert much more non-buyers to buyers if we do that. And I just want to share with you what we actually do. Now, if someone attend for a webinar, webinarcloser.com or service or team who works with a webinar runner will actually call them. We call the guys who registered for a webinar. And what we ask is a pretty simple question which came from, let's say, closing strategies and tactics. And the question is not more and not less than, hey, thank you so much for registering for webinar ABC. Let me ask you a question. What is your motivation to attend the webinar? That's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, you as a webinar runner, you may think that that a registrant for a webinar attend the webinar because they want to watch the webinar. That's a really basic thinking. They actually attend the webinar to get something out of it. So if we ask them, hey, what is your motivation to attend the webinar, we will find out exactly what they are looking for. And if it comes to like sales psychology, we pre-frame them a little bit to actually attend the webinar much more likely than if you just send a follow-up email, stuff like that. I hope that helps. Please implement that. If you need help with stuff like that, please go over to webinarcloser.com. You will find contact data and application form. Hook us up, let's hop on a call, and we can make it happen for you, or we can figure out what exactly we can implement from our service to make your webinar closing rate much more higher. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.